Hey guys, I'm Mugeh, an immortal player from New Zealand, and welcome to Quick Guide, which today is on Phantom Assassin. Although the title of this video states that it is a guide for 7.26a, Phantom Assassin as a hero has maintained a very similar playstyle over the years, and will most likely continue to in the future, so if you're watching this in later patches, it's likely still very relevant. Also, if you guys find this video useful, please subscribe and comment what videos you would like to see in the future. And also like the video, I think it helps to get views and stuff, which is kinda cool I guess. I have played a decent amount of Phantom Assassin, and recently it has become one of my go-to carry picks, despite its overall negative win rate in Divine and Immortal games. I think my success with the hero is to do with my fighting playstyle and item build, which fits the current meta. This video will cover when and why to take fights on PA, as well as the skill and item build that I recommend. Firstly, let's go over what the role of position 1, hard carry, currently means in Dota. The position numbers used in Dota from 1 to 5 generally imply farming priority, as well as the lanes that they are played in. Phantom Assassin almost always will be played in the position 1 role, which means that it is your job to find farm on the map and buy the items which will carry the game. What I am suggesting doesn't go against this, but in the current meta, farming for too long will let the enemy team snowball, making your space to farm very restricted, while the enemy team controls more of the map. My way to address this on PA is to skip any farming item, and instead aim for a much earlier power spike of Desolator and level 12. The Deso combined with level 2 ultimate gives you a 750 damage crit at an average timing of around 16 minutes. Now, let's go over the item build. For starting items, I recommend 2 sets of tangos, a quelling blade, and I sometimes go a ring of regen. The ring of regen is personal preference for me. You could also go 3 branches and a salve, or a salve, mango, and branch, etc. As long as you have decent regen and a quelling blade, you are good to go. In the lane, if a magic stick is high value, immediately ship it to you after bounty runes, or when you have enough gold to. If a magic stick is not worth it in your lane, I will instead immediately send 1 slipper of agility at the beginning of the laning stage, and eventually build into 2 wraith bands and power treads. These are my early game items, and I prefer the treads over phase boots so I can toggle to intelligence treads before using my spells, especially in the jungle to save mana. And the attack speed helps your farming more than phase boots do, also the fact that it's cheaper this patch. Once you have these items, immediately start building towards your Desolator. After Desolator, in 90% of my games I will go straight into a BKB, and after BKB I will generally build into an Abyssal Blade, starting with Skull Basher. In some games I go other items such as Mantis Style, Sanjinyasha, or even just straight Rapier or Satanic. These are all situational, but if you are unsure, stick to Desolator, Black King Bar, and Abyssal Blade. The skill build I go is nothing special, and I think it's completely standard. I start with Dagger for the slow and to secure last hits, and then I get Blink Strike next, which can be used defensively, or to blink onto a hero to get a kill. And then I get another point in Dagger. You could get an earlier point in your Blur, if you're versing something like a Nature's Prophet, or any other hero that's going to be right-clicking you a lot. But really, you want to get one level on Blur, max your Dagger, max your W, and then you max your Blur at the very latest. And obviously skilling your talents and ult as you reach it. For talents, I almost always take the damage talent at level 10, but I think the health talent is very viable, especially when playing against burst, but I normally find since I'm getting an early BKB that I'm not too worried about the enemy team's burst, so I take the damage talent. I think the health talent is viable, but when you are playing as a burst hero, you shouldn't be relying on your health pool. For level 15, I always take the lifesteal. Many people feel that they should get the 25% cleave talent since they have skipped the Battle Fury, but I think that you should commit to the build you have gone, which is a fighting one. and 15% lifesteal is massive on PA when you have so much damage. So while the small amount of cleave, you know, it looks good for wave clear, it doesn't actually do much in fights. For level 20, I go the -4 armor corruption, because although an extra 30% evasion sounds like a lot, you will not normally be dying to the enemy's right clicks anyway, with your existing 50% evasion, so kind of buffing that up doesn't actually affect your hero much, but getting -4 armor corruption actually amps your burst that you're already relying on. It's building and skilling in a way which fits into the playstyle that you are aiming to play. For level 25, both talents are viable. I personally prefer the triple dagger, as a 4-second 50% slow on multiple heroes is amazing, as well as the fact that you get lifesteal on all of them. Then again, when you need to burst down a hero during an abyssal stun or something, let's say you want to quickly burst down a Quap or a Storm Spirit before they jump away, then taking the extra 10% chance in your ult can be the deal breaker between, you know, bursting them or losing the game. So I definitely think you need to consider the enemy heroes that you are playing against. Alright, that's enough talking about the boring stuff, and let's get into the playstyle. To start with, I'm going to try to explain my ideas around joining fights on PA, and then let's look at some examples in game. So, PA is a scary hero to play. Anytime you jump into a fight and an enemy lands one hex or stun on you, you can be bursted down immediately and your fight is over. There are multiple ways to get around this, and the first one is picking targets. Before a fight even breaks out, you need to identify which enemy heroes are the biggest threat, and play accordingly. So the next kind of 1 minute of the video is just going to be me looking at some of my recent PA games unscripted, and I'm going to kind of go through and identify who the biggest threats are. If you want to skip this part of the video, I'll put a timer that will be when the scripted content returns, so you can go to that if you want. Alright guys, I decided to do this part of the video kind of unscripted, and I put on my webcam, hey, just because it kind of seems more personal. And I just want to have a look at some of my recent PA games. I'm going to quickly identify who the main threats are. So this game here, my most recent PA game. So SF, burst damage, Earthshaker, stuns, probably the most important, and then there's the Bane as well, who have to be very careful of the sleep. So this SF went Yule's build this game, which meant that I really couldn't fight until BKB. But as soon as I got the BKB and the Void got his BKB, we won the game. So that's a good example. Priority is probably Earthshaker first, Earthshaker or Bane first, maybe Bane first, then Earthshaker, then SF, or really whoever is available to kill in the fights. The Bane ult is terrifying though, because it goes through BKB, so I was probably trying to burst this guy first and coordinating it with my axe call. Alright, what's next? Next we have a game verse. Looks like I completely stunned this game. I'm seeing Lich Coddle. We obviously want to burst Coddle first. His ult and his blinding light is especially annoying, so if you can jump him quickly and kill him before he can get his spells off, that's massive. The Lich as well can save a hero, so I'm going to be trying to burst Coddle and Lich, and probably once I got an Abyssal, I don't know if I did this game. I got a Bashy, and once I get a Basher I'm going to try and burst the Ember, because he's going to be doing a lot of the damage. I will leave the Jug and the Underlord for later, because I can kite them pretty easily with my Blink and Blur. Alright, next, third most recent game, I'm seeing, oh this is a scary game. They have another Coddle again, who I want to burst first, then they have a Nyx, who I will probably need BKB to kill, because he's just going to press E whenever I jump him, or throw a dagger on him. And then they have a Leshrac, who was doing all the damage, but he was also quite tanky. So this was a hard game. It was actually a massive 20k comeback, where we kind of got lucky with some arrows. But once again, threats this game, Coddle first, then Nyx, Ember, Lesh, or really whoever your team's coordinating on. Alright, so this game they have a support Lina, who we're going to want to burst first. They have a Lich, so once again, we're just going to burst the two supports. They have a Morph as well, so if the Morph ever gets stunned, or once I get my Abyssal, which I think I did this game, yeah I got pretty far in this game, I'm just going to burst this Morph when if he doesn't get his Agi form off. It's the same with the Ember. These kind of squishy, very similar to a PA in their playstyle. Squishy burst terrors, even though he kind of went a tank build on the Ember. This game, I'm going to be bursting the Disruptor and the Quap, I think. So the Quap, I'm going to be waiting for the Quap to blink in, and then I'm going to jump in and kill him. So I'm constantly going to be waiting for the Quap to blink in. The Disruptor, I want to find him first, because he's the one that's going to put down his ult, especially before I have BKB. In this game, I'm versing a Silencer, who's just a free kill I'm going to want to kill. Same with this SF. The Shackle's really the only stun, so I can kind of freely kill the SF and the Silencer here, as long as I'm looking out for the Shackle. So watching for Shackle, bursting Silencer SF would be my idea for this game. Kill the Lifestealer Abaddon later. I just ignore the Abaddon, honestly, until his team's dead. Game coordinator's being updated, cool, I guess we'll go back to the scripted video now. You get the point. Generally, whoever has a stun, or is an annoying support, or whoever you can burst easily, take them out of the fight, and then suddenly you're in a 5v4. And ideally you want to hold your BKB, but it's risky. Alright, back to the video. Another way to avoid the risk of dying quickly on PA is to not join fights until you are properly enabled to do so without dying. And once again, this varies from game to game. Some clear-cut examples would be needing a BKB when playing against a Lion, Shadow Shaman, or a Shadow Fiend with Yules, unless you can coordinate your initiation with your team's lockdown to burst these heroes quickly. The third way to avoid getting kited in fights is to burst the important heroes using the small amount of time given to you by your blur. Your blur has a 0.75 second buffer time, where you can be near and even attacking an enemy hero or tower and still be invisible. So if you're on the outside of a fight blurred, you can throw a dagger and blink onto a hero and get about 4 attacks before you are revealed, and with a crit or a bash you can kill a support before they even have time to react. So, about when to join fights. For Phantom Assassin, I say whenever possible without you dying. I just realized that I didn't really mention that you should be waiting for your level 12 and Death Ladder as your fighting power time, but from then on really you want to be fighting all the time, unless you desperately need to farm a BKB, which you can do split farming with your blur, or farming ancients, so yeah. When going this build, over a Battle Fury or the Cleave talent, your flash farming potential is significantly lower, but your ability to snowball and stop the enemy from farming is much higher. So yeah, that's the gist of it guys. There will be a link to a guide that you can use in game in the description, and really yeah, thanks for watching, if anyone made it this far into the video, and good luck in your games, and like and subscribe and stuff, and I don't know, leave a comment if you want more. But yeah, thanks for watching.